Hello everyone, I'm Anas Al-Ubaidi, and this video is the second session or second video for Chapter 8 in the Advanced Medical Science Liaison and Medical Monitor Certification course, or for short, AMSLC course, curriculum, or syllabus. In this video, we will be covering and we will be talking about the key differences between primary and advanced monitoring, as it is one of the important topics as part of the foundations of medical monitoring. So, key differences between primary and advanced monitoring. The introduction about this topic for this video, as monitoring in the clinical trials and healthcare is a foundational process designed to ensure patient safety, adherence to ethical standards, and the integrity of data collected during research. Over the years, monitoring practices have evolved significantly, progressing from manual on-site evaluations to sophisticated technology-driven approaches. This transition marks the development from what we define as primary monitoring to advanced monitoring. So, through technology, through the improvements within the methods and involving the technology improvement to advance the monitoring style or process to transform the monitoring style or process from being a primary to advanced monitoring. And as for this video, we are discussing the key differences between primary and advanced monitoring. So primary monitoring focuses on traditional hands-on methods. It involves site-specific visits where manual checks are conducted to verify compliance with protocols and standards. This approach is most effective for smaller trials or those with simpler protocols, offering direct interaction with investigators and clearer insights into site-level activities. So primary monitoring style or primary monitoring method, it is very much traditional in compared to the advanced now. So by being traditional, by following traditional or sticking with the traditional primary monitoring, this will be very much useful, very much impactful, and very, very much helpful in smaller trials and simpler protocols, not with the big ones, not with the big protocols or big trials. Now here, in compared to the advanced monitoring, as advanced monitoring, on the other hand, reflects the modernization of clinical trial oversight, leveraging technology. It incorporates automation, predictive analytics, and centralized systems to monitor trial activities across multiple locations. And this is a big difference between applying primary and advanced monitoring. As in a primary, as we mentioned, is smaller trials, simple protocols in compare, simpler protocols in compare. While on the other hand, advanced monitoring can be applied and can be followed after implementing it, on the other hand, in bigger protocols in compare, in bigger trials in compare. Why? Because the advanced monitoring, leveraging technology, it incorporates automation, predictive analytics, and centralized systems to monitor trial activities across multiple locations, meaning here you can apply advanced monitoring. And of course, here when we are talking about monitoring, it applies to different monitoring roles, whether medical science liaison, whether medical monitor, as of clinical scientist, or even as a CRA, clinical research associate. So any kind of monitor. So Despite the different roles to provide monitoring, advanced monitoring here can be applied across multiple locations. So with the trials, bigger trials that are global, international, or even national wise, but within multiple locations nationally. This real-time data-driven approach significantly enhances oversight, efficiency, scalability, and precision. So each aspect here, each element will be enhanced here, making it essential for large, complex, or global trials. So global or international trials. Understanding the key differences and applications of these two approaches equips clinical research professionals with the ability to adopt the right strategies for a given study. Key points. So here we have the definitions and overview. Primary monitoring. The definition for primary monitoring is simply a traditional site-based approach to monitoring that involves physical visits by monitors to verify protocol compliance, patient safety, and data quality manually. So it is basically the traditional method of monitoring approach or monitoring strategy, and that's why it's called primary monitoring. Now, the key features here focuses on basic hands-on evaluations conducted directly at trial sites, relies on source data verification, as for short for source data verification, SDV, and manual review of case report forms, or for short for case report form CRFs, or even some experts might call the CRF EDC as of electronic data capture, and source documents. Establishes direct interactions with the site personnel for issue resolution. Example for primary monitoring: a monitor visiting a clinical trial site weekly to verify participant eligibility and ensure proper documentation and drug accountability. So very much this example explains everything here as of key features and definition. It is very basic primary style, traditional style of monitoring as of the monitor professional here do monitor visit in person, or performing the monitor visit as of in person. And compare, on the other hand, the advanced monitoring. Now, the definition for it: a modern technology-driven approach that employs centralized and automated tools for real-time monitoring and decision making. So here technology is involved, maybe AI, but technology is involved, advanced, enhanced technology in order to enhance the monitoring style to make advanced monitoring out of it. And the key features here: utilizes electronic data retrieval systems like electronic data capture EDC, focuses on centralized and remote monitoring for efficient risk-based oversight, integrates advanced analytics tools, key risk indicators as of short KRIs or KRIS, and machine learning for predictive insights. Example of advanced monitoring: using AI, artificial intelligence algorithms to detect data anomalies and elevated adverse events as AEs or AE rates across multiple sites. When there is a big trial that is global, international, or has multiple sites. So here, using, as this example applies perfectly on advanced monitoring, as using AI algorithm in order to detect any anomalies, any rhythm of AE or rate at the same time, in one time, but within multiple sites, across multiple locations or multiple sites. And here, sites, multiple sites, meaning the sites that are conducting that particular trial. Now here, very much is a nice diagram explaining about the primary and advanced monitoring. So which monitoring approach to use for clinical trials? As here we have the primary monitoring involves physical site visits and manual data verification, ensuring direct interaction and hands-on evaluation. So very basic, very traditional monitoring. While here the advanced monitoring, on the other hand, utilizes technology for real-time data analysis and predictive insights, offering efficiency and centralized oversight. Next, methodologies and techniques. So here, for the primary traditional monitoring techniques, on-site monitoring. So the techniques doesn't matter if they are in order or not, but those three upcoming elements are the most important basic familiar elements or components within the primary monitoring technique. So on-site monitoring, conduct periodic site visits to ensure good clinical practice, GCP compliance, perform SDV between source documents and CRF. CRFs or CRF, the case report forms, or EDC as of electronic data capture. So here, source documentation verification, SDV. So here, the monitor who's conducting the in-person physical on-site monitoring visit is comparing between the documentation, between the data that was documented, captured and documented within the source of the site, because the source here documentation, the source belongs to the site that is conducting the trial, and the CRF, meaning CRF here is the, let's say, the portal that belongs to the sponsor that whenever there is data needs to be transcripted or entered from the site source, needs to be entered into the CRF for the sponsor or CRO. And here the monitor in person coming in order to check the data if there is any discrepancy or it's matchable between the document source, the source document of the site and the CRF, meaning they have to make sure the data is matchable, meaning there is no any kind of discrepancies. Example for it, a monitor cross-checking handwritten patient diaries with reported efficacy data. And as you can see here in the example, it's manually hands-on kind of monitoring. Manual data review, rechecking patient eligibility records and assessing consistency in protocol adherence. And example for that, identifying discrepancies between trial inclusion criteria and actual enrolled participants during site visits. And as here for participants, they are the patients who are participating in the trial, or some experts might call them subjects as well. And despite of the terminology, participants, patients, subjects, but all referring the same. So here, manual data review. Example, very simple example is identifying discrepancies between trial inclusion criteria and actual enrolled participants during site visits. Now, face-to-face interaction, because when the monitor is physically on-site, performing on-site monitoring visit, that monitor is interacting face-to-face. So here, communicating in real time with investigators, and not only investigators, but the site research members as well, to resolve protocol deviations or answer queries. And here, queries meaning this is plural, but for a singular query. So here, queries will rise up or will be created by the monitor when the monitor finds any kind of discrepancies in data, for instance, between the source document and the CRF. So here, a query will be created on that particular data by the monitor. Example, for face-to-face interaction, providing training to site staff during an on-site inspection. So for some particular reason, the site staff who's conducting the trial needs to be retrained. Although they were trained, but retraining is needed. And here, the monitor decided to retrain or train the site on that particular issue, whether because of deviation or any discrepancies in work or in data. So the monitor is providing that training as face-to-face in person while they are performing that on-site monitoring visit. Next. As here is a nice diagram to simplify the primary monitoring, the traditional monitoring techniques in clinical trials. So we have the on-site monitoring, conducting periodic site visits to ensure GCP, good clinical practice compliance. And we have the manual data review, rechecking patient eligibility records and assessing consistency. And we have the face-to-face interaction. And here, with this face-to-face interaction, communicating in real time with investigators or any other member from the investigator staff, research site staff, or site research staff to or member to resolve issues. So 3 elements that are the main elements in the techniques of primary monitoring: on-site monitoring, manual data review, and face-to-face interaction. Now, on the other hand, the advanced enhanced monitoring techniques. And the elements here, the 3 elements, despite of the order, we have the centralized monitoring, we have the risk-based monitoring, RBM for short, and remote or distant monitoring. So centralized monitoring, it's also conducting real-time oversight. So conduct real-time oversight of clinical trials using data aggregation tools. Leverages analytics dashboards to focus on problem areas such as delayed site reporting or irregular AE adverse event rates. And a simple example for the centralized monitoring: identifying a lack of adherence to informed consent in a remote trial using centralized systems. So modified, up-to-date, enhanced, advanced centralized system being used to identify issues. And one of the issues that was identified is lack of adherence to informed consent. And this was done through the centralized monitoring. And here, real-time conduct of oversight in this clinical trial particularly was implemented and was applied. Risk-based monitoring, RBM, focuses resources on high-risk sites or activities based on predefined KRIS. So here, prior to start the trial, maybe, the high-risk sites with particular geographical areas was identified already by the sponsor or by the CRO. So here, the focus will be on these high-risk sites. That's why it's called risk-based monitoring. Reduces redundant on-site checks by efficiently targeting key risk domains. Example, for the risk-based monitoring, RBM, automatically flagging higher than anticipated levels of protocol deviations across multiple centers. And this applies to the idea of when we have a big trial, big study that being conducted within multiple locations, multiple sites or centers. Remote monitoring monitors trial sites virtually using secure cloud systems for constant data uploads and reviews. And here, still we are doing monitoring, still there is monitoring, but it's remote. Live, real-time, remote monitoring. An example for it, tracking dosing schedules and compliance for patients in decentralized trials. And here is a nice diagram, simplify the techniques, the three components in the techniques of advanced clinical trial monitoring or advanced monitoring. We have the centralized monitoring, we have the risk-based monitoring, and remote monitoring as well. Key benefits. So here we'll review the key benefits for each primary and advanced monitoring. In a primary monitoring, the key benefits, despite the order, direct insight, enhanced relationship building, and detailed observations. We have the direct insight provides upfront hands-on understanding of site operations, particularly effective for low-scale studies. As we remember, primary monitoring, or it's the traditional monitoring, and basically this kind of monitoring methodology or strategy can be applied easily in small trials, smaller trials or simpler protocols. So that's why particularly effective for low-scale studies. Example, identifying operational insufficiencies during site visits. Easy, simple example to reflect on direct insight. Enhanced relationship building, well, strengthens connections between monitors and investigators through face-to-face engagement. So although it is traditional, it is a primary style of monitoring, but this is important. The enhancement in the relationship and the trust between the monitors and the investigators, and not only the investigators as principal investigators, but between the monitors and all the members of the investigator site research staff, all the members in that staff or in that investigator research site. So between all those members and the monitors, one of the key points here, a key benefit for primary monitor is building up, strengthen the connection, the communication. Why? Because face-to-face engagement is being applied. As for an example here, building a trust and a collaborative dynamic during extended site stays. The detailed observations ensures close attention to protocol adherence and investigator oversight. As for example, spotting misdocumentation of patient-reported outcomes in real time. So because the monitor is on-site personally, physically, so momentarily in real time, the monitor is able to spot any missing kind of documentation while the monitor is there physically. Now, on the other hand, advanced monitoring, the key benefits for it, despite the order, scalability and flexibility, and also the real-time insights. So scalability and flexibility facilitates oversight of larger scale. So Remember, in the primary monitoring, direct insight that is effective for low skill studies. Now here for high skill or large scale studies, it is applicable or more suitable for advanced monitoring. So facilitates oversight of larger scale multinational trials using centralized methods. Multinational, the international ones, the global trials. Example, managing 50 trial sites across varying geographies with minimal physical visits. So instead, here as monitors, we can minimize the need for in-person physical on-site visits. And at the same time, we are still monitoring, for instance, 50 trial sites, and we are able to manage that. How? By applying advanced monitoring. And advanced monitoring, again, it is using centralized methods. Real-time insights. So real-time is still applicable here and in the primary monitoring. So here in advanced monitoring enables proactive identification and mitigation of risks, ensuring uninterrupted trial operations. Example, monitoring trends in AE, adverse event reporting, and highlighting potential safety concerns instantly or immediately. Now, the cost efficiency and the data accuracy. So cost efficiency reduces costs by minimizing extensive trial and on-site activities. So here also, the cost efficiency is important in order to be considered in whether to follow the primary and or advanced monitoring. So reduces costs by minimizing extensive travel and on-site activities. And this one applies, if we think about it, this one applies to the advanced monitoring, because the idea of advanced monitoring, you have advanced, enhanced technology that we are using as monitors in order to monitor, yet using real-time monitoring to capture things, but minimizing the on-site, in-person physical site visits. That's why reduces costs will occur. The costs will be reduced by minimizing the travel and the on-site activities. Example, a global phase 3 trial avoided 40% of expected monitoring costs using centralized oversight, meaning you're using advanced monitoring. Data accuracy. Advanced analytics ensure higher accuracy and unbiased data review. And here, as long as we mentioned the word advanced analytics, and then we are talking here about the advanced monitoring. As advanced monitoring maintain the accuracy of the data. So advanced analytics ensure higher accuracy and unbiased data review. Unbiased data review. Example, utilizing algorithms to align reported CRF data discrepancies with known SAE or serious adverse event patterns. So here, this is a small diagram, monitoring strategies in clinical trials. We have the primary monitoring, we have the enhanced relationships building, detailed observations, advanced monitoring, real-time insights. Challenges. Now, with every style, with each strategy, whether advanced, whether traditional, in addition to the key benefits, we have challenges as well. So the challenges that might apply to primary monitoring, the traditional monitoring style, despite the order, we have the labor-intensive processes, high costs, and data delays. So labor-intensive processes, manual efforts increase burden and extend timelines unnecessarily. High costs, of course. You have travels, you have transportation, maybe hotels staying, maybe motels staying, and so frequent travel and logistical costs strain the trial budget. Data delays, manual data entry and review can lead to lag in identifying protocol deviations. Why? Because the data here is being handled manually. While the challenges for the advanced monitoring, although it's advanced, but yet we still have challenges here. Despite the order, we have the technological challenges, we have the high initial costs, and we have the expertise gaps. So for technological challenges requires robust IT infrastructure, secure networks, and trained personnel. Of course, when we use here high advanced technology or improved technology, of course, we need to train the individuals or the professionals who are using such high advanced technology or high tech methods or strategies. And you'll need secure networks for confidentiality of the data to secure and maintain and protect data. And you'll need, in this case, IT experts as well. Example, difficulty implementing centralized platforms across underdeveloped regions, especially when we are conducting global international trials, so multiple multinational sites, locations, and some of these locations are in underdeveloped regions. You have the internet connection problems and all of that, securing network and all of that. So difficulty in implementing centralized platforms. High initial costs. Implementation of advanced tools demands significant upfront investment. So although it's cost efficient, the advanced monitoring, although it is, but initially in the start beginning, implementing it needs an investment, a high cost, but initially in the start beginning, when implementing the advanced tool. Example, budget constraints, delaying AI, artificial intelligence adaptation in certain trials. Expertise gaps, needs for specialized training to interpret and act on analytics outputs effectively. Of course, with any advanced technology that being implemented and applied after and followed then, we need adequately trained professionals in order to deal with such a highly tech method or strategy. So here, a nice diagram in order to modify the monitoring challenges in clinical trials, whether for the advanced or the primary monitoring. And here we have the high implementation difficulty and low implementation difficulty. We have here the low resources intensity and the high resource intensity. Technological challenges, technological demands complicate low resource infrastructure setups, high initial costs, high upfront investment challenges, resource intensive implementations, expertise gaps, specialized training needs hinder easy implementation, labor intensive processes, manual efforts increase resource use with manageable difficulty. So this is a nice diagram in order to simplify what we spoke about. Recent advancements. So what are the most recent advancements that was done, that have been done? Wearable by the order, we have the wearable devices, integration of patient wearables into monitoring systems to track real-time biometrics. Example, monitoring blood pressure trends in hypertensive patients remotely. So here, in real time, using the high tech or high technology, we are monitoring remotely the patients with hypertension, monitoring their blood pressure measurements as through wearable devices. Number two, AI, artificial intelligence powered analysis. And here we have the AI being used, AI driven models that analyze KRIS, the risks, and generate predictive alerts. So analyzing any risks and generate any alert accordingly if needed by using AI, artificial intelligence driven models. Example, identifying underperforming sites before they impact overall trial quality. So here, any underperformance for any site that is conducting the trial that we are monitoring has been identified, has been detected prior to any negative impact on the trial overall. How? By using AI-driven models. Blockchain-based systems. And here, blockchain-based systems, a blockchain is a terminology in research being used for any audit trail, more particularly data audit trail. So increasing transparency in data audit trails for regulatory submissions. Example, ensuring immutable drug accountability records through blockchain-based systems. And many examples can be applied on audit trail, especially with data. And audit trail here is important in order to identify the old data that was modified or that was changed or that was corrected. So through the audit trail, as monitors, we are able to identify the data how it was in the first beginning and before it was changed or modified or corrected, and then the new data. So for the same data, we are able, through the audit trail, through the blockchain-based systems, we are able to know the old data for that particular data, how the shape was for that data previously, and how it is now with the time, real-time documentation, meaning who and when, who changed that data or modified it or corrected it, and when, through the audit trail, and that's called blockchain-based systems. Hybrid monitoring models. So nowadays, one of the recent advancement that being applied in the monitoring style is the hybrid, meaning applying both the in-person and the remote, in-person physical and the remote monitoring at the same time. So combining both the primary and advanced monitoring for high-risk complex trials. Example, conducting on-site visits for new sites while using centralized systems for established centers. And this is a very good, simple example. So real-life applications here, we have this table, application type, the primary monitoring practices, and the advanced monitoring techniques. So patient safety oversight for each primary and advanced monitoring, for primary regular site visits to check AE logs, while in advanced centralized dashboards. And data verification, we have the manual style in primary, but real-time automated checks through EDC in the advanced. In the compliance, we have the primary style of monitoring, physical review of consent forms physically in person, while in advanced we have the remote compliance review for all trial sites. Investigator support, face-to-face in the primary style of monitoring, while web-based platforms for proactive engagement in the advanced. So understanding the distinctions between primary and advanced monitoring equips clinical monitors with the ability to select and implement the most effective strategies for specific trials, whether medical monitor, whether any kind of monitor, because different roles, as we know, as you might know, within research, different positions or titles or roles apply monitoring, are monitoring, not only medical monitors. So here, you as a monitor, despite your position, understanding both, understanding the key benefits, understanding the challenges, advantages, disadvantages, and the definition and uh, uh, the way of applying for each primary and advanced, you as a monitor, knowing all that, can choose which strategy to follow, and maybe the hybrid one. While primary methods excel in small-scale localized studies, advanced monitoring, on the other hand, is crucial for modern large-scale and global research. And this is simple. Small scale, low scale, you use the basic, the primary traditional monitoring, while for larger scale trial, you'll be using the advanced monitoring of style. By blending these approaches where necessary, professionals can ensure robust, patient-focused, and efficient trial execution. And, and it is better to ensure the robust, better to reach the point of the patient-focused outcome and the efficiency by follow the hybrid, by blending both the primary and advanced. And most of the trials nowadays are following the hybrid by blending both or doing both the primary and advanced at the same time. And so blending both. Now here, innovations in clinical trial monitoring, and this is a nice diagram or draw, hybrid monitoring models combining on-site and centralized systems for complex trials, wearable devices, integration of wearables for real-time biometrics tracking, as the example was in the wearable devices. It was upon hypertensive participants or patients while we are following the blood pressure measurements. AI, artificial intelligence powered analysis, AI models for predictive alerts in trial management, and the blockchain based systems, which is the audit trails for data, particularly ensuring transparency and immutability in data audits. Summary tables. Now here we have the summary tables for instance, table 1, key features of primary against advanced monitoring. We have the feature and how it applies each feature, whether data verification, monitoring location, core tools used, interaction type, and main focus area for each primary and advanced. An example for each. And here we have table 2, the methodologies in monitoring, methodology type, primary, advanced, the purpose, and example as well. And we have here the on-site monitoring methodology type, manual data review, centralized monitoring, risk-based monitoring, and remote monitoring as well. Next table also the common benefits of monitoring types, as these tables are very much simplifying what we covered earlier in this video through the earlier first beginning slides. So here the benefit as detailed site observations, cost effectiveness, scalability, timelines, the timeliness of feedback, and resource optimization for each primary and advanced. And we have the broader impact and the specific use case. Table 4, challenges and solutions in monitoring. And we have the challenge, the primary monitoring impact, the advanced monitoring impact, proposed solution for each, and the improvement achieved. In the challenge, we have the labor-intensive processes, data processing speed, cost constraints, technology requirements, and learning curve for tools. As we can see here, with the labor-intensive processes, it's not applicable with the advanced monitoring impact, but it is for the primary. And here we can see in the technology requirements and learning curve for tools is not applicable for primary, but only for advanced, both of them. Table 5, applications in monitoring practice, area of application, whether patient adherence, adverse event reporting, drug inventory management, protocol amendments, and investigator training. And we have for each, how it applies for each, whether primary or advanced monitoring, real life example for each, and the outcome for each. Application table, we have the scenario, key principle applied, the key action, timeline, and what to watch out for. Whether for reviewing compliance during site visits, monitoring protocol deviations remotely, ensuring patient adherence in large-scale trials, and flagging adverse event trends early, and in investigating drug inventory variances. And here, easily tell you which one monitoring type to follow for each of these scenarios. For instance, for reviewing compliance during site visits, we have primary monitoring. We need monitoring protocol deviation remotely, advanced. Ensuring patient adherence in large-scale trials, advanced monitoring. Flagging adverse event trends early. Here we have the monitoring, risk-based monitoring, RBM. And risk-based monitoring is kind of advanced monitoring. Investigating drug inventory variances, here primary monitoring. Application table as well. We have here also scenario and also which key principle applied and the key actions and timeline and what to watch out for, as we have here the using wearable devices for critical trials. Of course, such devices will be applied and will be implemented and then applied for advanced monitoring, centralized oversight of global trials, of course, centralized monitoring, and that this is advanced monitoring. Investigator skill development, primary monitoring, analyzing patient dropout rates, advanced monitoring, and more particular, the risk-based monitoring and advanced monitoring. Reviewing compliance in multi-region studies, of course, here, for instance, the hybrid that we spoke about by blending both the primary and advanced monitoring. Now, we'll do a few multiple choice questions in order to kind of reviewing what we covered in this video. Now, question 1. What distinguishes advanced monitoring from primary monitoring in clinical trials? A, it relies solely on manual site inspections. B, it emphasizes centralized and automated tools for monitoring. C, it eliminates the need for compliance reviews. D, it is limited to small-scale trials. So what distinguishes advanced from primary monitoring? Of course, small scale will be for the primary. So this will not be the answer. So the answer here is B. It emphasizes centralized and automated tools for monitoring, and this applies into advanced and compared into the primary monitoring. Explanation: advanced monitoring utilizes technology-driven approaches like centralized data systems, key risk indicators, KRIS for short, and AI algorithms for real-time decision making, making it ideal for larger scale trials. Which one? The advanced monitoring. Question 2. What is a major benefit of using risk-based monitoring, RBM, as it is a kind or type of advanced monitoring? A, avoids the need for data validation processes. B, focuses monitoring efforts on high-risk areas or sites. C, replaces all primary monitoring techniques. And D, relies completely on manual AE adverse event trend analysis. And the answer here is B, focuses monitoring efforts on high-risk areas or sites. Explanation: risk-based monitoring uses predefined KRIS, as it's short for key risk indicators, to identify and prioritize high-risk areas or regions, optimizing resources and ensuring critical factors are monitored effectively. Question 3. Which of the following is a challenge associated with wearable devices in advanced monitoring? Because as we know, as we discussed earlier, wearable device will be part of the advanced monitoring. A, they fail to track real-time patient vitals. B, they require on-site presence for data analysis. C, they might experience data loss or device malfunction. D, they provide only basic compliance information. So if we think about it, we are talking about devices, high-tech devices, right? So as any high-tech device, we might experience data loss or device malfunction. So C, they might experience data loss or device malfunction. Explanation: while wearable devices offer real-time insights, they can suffer from technical issues like malfunction or data loss, which can disrupt trial continuity. Question 4. How does centralized monitoring contribute to clinical trial efficiency? And here, if we remember, centralized monitoring here applies into advanced monitoring. A, by conducting all monitoring activities through physical visits. Of course, physical visits, no, because physical visits apply into the traditional, the primary monitoring. B, by creating real-time insights via centralized dashboards for multi-site evaluations, mostly is this one. By limiting trial oversight to a single location, no. By eliminating the need for monitoring protocols, also no. So B, as we said, by creating real-time insights via centralized dashboards for multi-site evaluations. Explanation here: centralized monitoring allows for the aggregation and analysis of data from all trial sites in a single platform, enhancing efficiency and reducing the need for frequent on-site visits. Now, question 5. What recent advancement has significantly improved data integrity in clinical trials? A, relying solely on manual data reviews at trial sites? No. Incorporating blockchain systems, the audit trail we spoke about for secure data audit trails? Mostly this one. C, conducting periodic site visits exclusively? No, because this is for primary monitoring. D, focusing on small-scale localized trial designs? No, because D applies into primary monitoring. So it is B, and as we said, incorporating blockchain system for secure data audit trails, one of the most recent advancements. As explanation here, blockchain technology ensures transparency and immutability in clinical trial data, providing a reliable audit trail for regulatory submissions. And here we come to the end of this video, and here in this video we covered and we spoke about the key differences between the primary and advanced monitoring styles or methods. And here we come to the end of this video. Thank you very much and goodbye.